damn.
Sweet pea.
Chip is very fat right now. He honestly feels like he's like 18 pounds. So he's bulking.
Is he actually eating his chickens? His chimmicks?
No, he ate a lot of his treats though. I don't know if you saw that story. He got into
I
that.
did.
So he got into his treats. He has not eaten his breakfast today, but he, I don't know. But I'm worried because like obviously I go to Arizona for a week and he's gonna go to a friend's house. So
Mm-hmm.
he doesn't, he gets a little anxious and he doesn't eat his food. So we'll see. He goes on a little hunger strike because I'm not with him.
Josh's dogs do that too. If he's not home, they won't eat.
Yeah. What's
Which
up?
you think they would for me by now, but nope.
Nope.
It's kind of cute though.
We'll
Like,
see.
I'm gonna starve if you're not home. Watch this.
Right?
But you guys know why, right? It's like an alpha male thing. If like the alpha male's not there asserting their dominance and eating, they like won't do it.
Weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, my place looks massive now.
I look like I have no hair because of my background thing.
You're just like, you're a 2003 Britney Spears.
Oh, I can't win today. All right.
You look fine.
Did Eric show you the canvas shit he was making for the physique forum merch?
No.
No.
Dude, I made this one,
Great.
but like I'll share my screen. It looks cool, but like we look like dudes. It's really funny. It's like we look like growth hormone face.
Oh
But
my
like,
God, wait,
Oh,
is that me
wow.
in the middle?
yeah, it's like you, me, and then Laura. Oh, granted, like you guys look the same because
I was
again,
just about to say, Megan and I look like we're twins.
yeah, it's like AI generated, but like it's
I look,
cool, but it's like it's pretty intense.
that's Tranny Meg.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
other ones that he was fooling around with. I don't like any of these. These are just weird. Because they're all AI generated, but these were
Yeah.
like cool. These are giving me like Laura Croft vibes.
Oh yeah.
She looks like, oh, what is her fucking
I don't
name?
even
I
train
know
my
who you're
arm.
talking about, Laura, because I was trying to like think of that too. Like they're cool looking. They just don't look like us. But where's this one? I liked these. These looked kind of badass, but again, they just don't look like us. But that one looks like Jamie Pinder.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like if these
We-
were actually us, I was like,
We're
yo,
not that
let's fucking
bad.
go.
I like the far right one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love how these look. It's just they don't look like us. It looks like Jamie Pinder.
Yeah.
So if we, so the guy that did my little logo for my branding, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
it was
Mhm.
like $100 for that. So it was the same thing, like he created that. I sent him a picture of me and then he made the whole AI. So like we
Mhm.
could do something like that if you guys wanted. It was super fast too. He added to me within 24 hours.
Yeah. I don't know if I want like my face on the shit. I like Meg's like Gorilla Glutes, DNR, like watermelon crushers idea because like
Yeah, I don't want my face on. I don't want
Yeah,
people.
okay.
not
Not
yet.
that
Not
cool.
yet.
I think it's funnier. One of my clients likes the Gorilla Glutes one.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, when are these releasing? I'm like, I don't know. But
Yeah,
I
so
like
we'll get
it.
on that. I like the Gorilla Glutes one. I think it's funny.
I did the free trial with Adobe to get that
Ooh.
gorilla. So
Ooh.
you better like it.
I know Eric did the free trial for my Squarespace to set up the like
Mhm.
website and get that going. But I think it's really cool that because when I have a store and you can talk about and you can like set up like how much money you want to make, and I only make like 10 cents just to cover the actual website. So that way I'm not like losing money selling merch. And so we can either do the same thing for the physique forum and just like make 10 cents, or like I was telling you guys via Snapchat, Jesus, WhatsApp. We could
All the
find
platforms.
whatever fucking platform we talk on. We could find like an eating disorder, like nonprofit or a website or a nonprofit that works with girls for athleticism or something like that, like something that we're passionate about and donate any
Yeah,
profit to that. And I think that'd be pretty cool.
I
Yeah,
agree.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah. Because I don't want to make money off of it. I just want people to have gorilla glutes, like or makes pasties. Like on
I
this.
want a shirt that says Gorilla Glutes, to be honest.
I do too.
And
Well,
like,
I
I
kind of
think
want the
that
watermelon crushers.
I think
Mhm.
they let's go ape shit or something like that on that. Like, it's just so funny.
Mm-hmm. For sure. No, I think that'd be a lot of fun. Cool. We're moving up in the world.
Oh
Do
God.
it.
Let's go ape shit.
Let's go ape shit.
How are we feeling after this week? This week has kicked my ass. I'm just like kind of tired all of a sudden.
This week fucking blew a massive cock. Holy shit. Ah, but it's fine. I'll be in sunny Arizona tomorrow. So
Lucky. Well, not that it's not sunny. What was it? Not sunny at the moment where you
yeah,
are, but
Yeah.
it's kind
typically
of gross right now. But
got it.
I'm
So what's
just
like on the
ready.
agenda for Arizona? Like I know you're doing your Scooby stuff.
Yeah, so Friday is when I fly in. I'm training with Larry. We're gonna murder our quads. He better not be a bitch, but we're
You
gonna
hear
train
that, Larry?
that Larry. But then I think there's like a team dinner. We're going to some steakhouse. So I haven't
Hmm.
had steak in a minute though, so I don't know how my tummy's been feeling. I don't know if I'm gonna be participating. Um, but I'll have a nice meal out. And then
Mhm.
Saturday, the first chunk of the day is like a lot of just kind of lecturing, kind of team building, self-development, coaches coming in to kind of like, team building, hoorah stuff. I'm really excited actually because we've never done anything like this as a team. We've always been very separate. So now
Mhm.
we're finally one, which I'm loving. Uh, and then we're going on a team hike. So
Ooh.
Saturday is a rest day and we'll be hiking together. And then Sunday we all depart and I'm gonna go straight train and then go to my little Airbnb in the middle of nowhere and get some edibles from the dispensary and just fucking get high as hell and just sit in my hot tub.
Ooh, I love that.
I'm so excited.
Whereabouts are you saying?
Well, first I'm gonna be in Scottsdale and then I'm gonna go to Prescott, which is more out in the middle. And
Mhm.
then I come back, stay in like Scottsdale, Phoenix area. But I'm gonna probably meet up with a friend of mine in Scottsdale like the second half of the week. And then my client lives out there. So I'm gonna meet
Ooh.
her. We're gonna train and I'm gonna make her sign up at the cool gym I found so she gets better gym equipment. Because
Ooh, honestly, that is a
yeah,
huge
it's gonna
addition
help her a
to
lot.
progressing.
Yep.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm excited. Oh, and I love it. She's so fun to work with, but her mom inquired too. So I'll probably
Ooh.
be working with her mom, which is really exciting.
Very nice.
Yeah. But I'm
Family
excited.
affair.
Yeah. But how is everybody else's week going? Are we looking forward to the weekend?
Yeah, my
Guys?
weekends kind of blend with my week at this point. But it's okay.
Yeah, I know.
Legit.
Doesn't
Legit.
really feel like a weekend ever, huh?
Mm-mm.
That's
I
okay.
sw- I swore up and down that I wasn't gonna take in-person clients on Saturdays, and then the like demand for that is higher than any other day during the week. So I was just like, fuck it. So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
now like I do like 7 sessions on Saturday. So
Oh,
Damn.
shit, I
yeah.
thought we were talking about like 3 or 4. Fuck. But that is true. That's when everybody is like weekend warriors. So,
Mhm.
um, gotta
Dude, I'm
do
just ready for like a chill weekend because this past weekend my athlete competed and it was also kind of like my birthday celebration. So I'm just like, I need chill. Like I just want to like train, work on client plans, and just kind of like hunker down and just like be zen, put some sage up my pussy and just like chill out.
yeah. The Italian
Speaking
seasoning.
of,
The Italian seasoning, yes, yes. I get
But
that
congrats,
oregano.
Ash, on the pod,
I
live
was
on
just
the pod. Congratulations to you
Thank
and your
you.
client
congratulations
for
for
whooping ass.
taking it home.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah, she
You're
did. She did
welcome.
great. It was her first ever show. And like, looking back on it, I'm like, oh, there's so many things I wish I would have done differently, like brought her in leaner and stuff like that. But honestly, it was my first athlete I was actually able to peak. And I was very proud with like how she handled it, how I handled it. Our feedback is to grow. So we're taking some much needed time off and then we'll try again next year with another local show, and then if she can, we'll try nationals, because she is small. She's 5 foot and has beautiful, small, bubbly muscles. And so like 1 to 2 pounds of muscle on her will just like,
That's really exciting. That's cool.
Yeah.
Really awesome.
She looked very comfortable on stage too, which is awesome because that's like the hardest thing for a newbie.
she legit is a natural. She's legit is a natural at it. Like she told me she was a little nervous for her first like wave of like comparisons or whatever, but you would have never known. Like Eric said that like he has never seen someone just look so confident and so natural on stage, and that's the truth, because like you would have never known that it was her first time.
Yeah.
Did she do dance growing up or any type of theatrical thing?
I don't know, to be honest with you, because I've only been working with her for like 7, 8
Yeah.
weeks, because it was kind of like a what rescue prep, if you will. But it wouldn't surprise me if she had some type of background, or she's just comfortable, because again, she owned it. Like she just owned herself on stage. I loved it.
That's good. I know. I have one athlete I'm working with now, Jazzy. And if you're listening to this, Jazzy, she sent every week. I have her send in obviously her check-ins, but she also sends in like her quarter turns, like her practicing like transitions and stuff. We're still gonna nail it out. But she just throws on like fun music and like her expressions and shit. I'm like, damn, I'm like getting into it too. I'm like, shit. Like she's about it, and it's so fun to watch because I can just tell like it's passion, you
Mhm.
know? And I'm so scared for myself because I I'm like confident in my body, but I'm not like I don't have that sex appeal, like that, ooh, like that. Nah.
Well, what do you want
Like,
to encompass on stage? Like obviously if you don't want to be a stripper, don't be a stripper, but like when you envision yourself doing your pro debut in wellness, what do you envision? What energy do you want to harness? Because I think that's really important to envision, much like we envision going into our top sets, how we want our top sets to look and feel, and then we go do it.
I what, Laura?
She envisions Fran. That's what we all envision for her. She's gonna be
Yeah, like
Fran. She's just gonna unicorn glide across the stage.
no, like legit, I want to like bring a good balance of strength and grace
Mhm.
and like make him have like a little baby on stage. But yeah, I'm not about that. I can't do that whole like winking on stage and
Yeah,
like flipping the hair. It's like fuck. It's gonna like get caught in my mouth like what is it? White girls, white chicks, and it's like
that's right.
like that's gonna be me. I'm just like like what the fuck. So yeah, that's not me. I can't do that. I'm not very
Yeah.
sexy.
I see
So
you bringing warrior vibes.
warrior.
Warrior vibes. Mhm.
Just fucking do like
Well, no, I mean,
really
if you like literally
muscular.
think about like old time ancient warriors, like Eric loves that shit. So I am like secondhand, like warrior battle structure shit. They are very structured and very
Yeah.
methodical in how they do their marching and their like battle cries and shit like that. But it's like it is practiced and rehearsed. And so it's actually like a form of respect and a its own form of art. So that's what I envision for you is like you're going there, you're owning your shit, you're owning your warriorness, and you're just coming to win. That's what I see.
I mean, I going into my figure debut, I feel like I did not practice my posing enough at all.
Mhm.
I will call myself out on that bullshit. I don't like the posing side of bodybuilding. You know, if competing didn't exist tomorrow, if social media didn't exist tomorrow, it's the training that got me into it, and that's where my passion kind of came from. So yeah, posing is not my forte, but I have to practice. But I do want to look very confident and relaxed. Like I
Mhm.
felt like for my pro debut, I was just like, shit, shit, shit. And like I had no smile. I was just like, did
Yeah.
I shit myself? Like like it was just shit. So yeah, I wanna feel good,
Mhm.
confident. And I think I will by the fucking time I'm up there, a year from now. It's fine. Everything's fine. Uh
Yeah. What about you, Laura? What's your stage embodiment?
Coming back from the dead slowly, surely, we're getting there. As I kind of mentioned to you all, and I posted a little bit about it, like I had like I'll own it. I had a plan of what I wanted to be doing for my training and nutrition, all that, and I just wasn't fucking doing it. I wasn't. I was sort of having not a pity party, but kind of like just being frustrated with everything of, testing this, testing that, getting this negative result, that negative result. And like I kind of was having a little bit of like a fuck it mentality. I'm just gonna do what I feel like doing on that day. I'm gonna eat what I feel like eating. Like I was still like tracking food, but then I would end up like going over it. And so about a week ago, like really, I sat down with Josh and we were like kind of talking about it. I'm like, what is, instead of me trying to do all of these things that is the requirements of wellness and how everyone does it, like what is actually realistic for me to like follow and be consistent with and like also enjoy doing.
Mhm.
So we put together like my training program, my nutrition, like as I have been like trying to pull food, not necessarily down, but not need to push it up further to get to continue to see growth. Now that my body is finally responding and whatnot, like I've had enough skin in the game to see that like I'm not someone that can push food super high and feel good from both digestively and from the inflammation state. So like my like hiding the top end carbs is probably like 300. And I mean, at 5 feet tall, that's fair. That's
Pretty good.
plenty. So I've also pulled down expenditure. So I'm not breaking even or in a deficit. Cause like honestly, before 300 carbs, I was in deficit for a long time. So we are kind of toying with that for inflammation purposes, growing purposes, and um, betterment of my mental health. And I think that that's all been shifting in the direction that it's needed to go for quite some time. And that I was just honestly afraid to do.
Mhm.
I love that.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing about like our struggles as athletes is having that mentality to be coachable. Whether you're working with a coach or you're coaching yourself, it's like you have to have the self-awareness enough to call you out on your bullshit, just so that way you can continue to improve. Because we all have things that we, bullshit around and have our struggles. Like, we're pretty open, the three of us, about like what we struggle with and how we try to get better. But at the end of the day, it's like even though we're coaches, we're still also athletes and we have our own shit that we work through, or at least we try to work through.
Mhm. Yeah, I love that for you. And I think you made an important little statement there saying like, yeah, your food was getting up high, like 300 carb for your size is pretty good, but you don't like some people just don't factor in how much they're moving and how much additional shit they're doing that they don't have to do. Because you were probably doing more cardio than you actually needed to do because you're a personal trainer, you are go, go, go. Like your NEAT is probably sufficient for
Mhm.
your cardio requirements for off season. And like it doesn't matter if your food is so high, if your expenditure is higher,
I
basic
I
like
had to
I suck
adjust
at math.
I had to adjust my work schedule for that. I was doing a
Yeah.
lot more, especially like coming out of prep, and like I didn't really get into this then, and like I'm in a good place now that I can talk about it. I mean, at the peak of cardio for prep, and that was a really busy time with me. I had just started back in May, so like I was building fast for clientele. I was at like 30,000 steps per day by the end of the day. My fucking legs
Wow.
hurt so bad from
Yeah.
doing like 8 sessions and then an hour of cardio and then like just daily life shit, walking the dogs. And it was summer too. So like obviously you want to be outside, but it fucked me so hard for the reverse because like at one point my carbs were like fucking almost 500 grams and like my stomach was already bothering me and like everywhere I was going people were looking at me like you look sick. So like I was having almost the reverse of feeling like I had to eat more so people would stop talking shit to me. So it was
Yeah.
just like a giant gas fire, but like over
Mhm.
time I reeled it back in and like I would say now I'm at like 12,000. A high day is 15.
Mhm.
That's
So
good. And
yeah.
that's so hard. I feel like I don't think any type of person, occupation, whatever, is necessarily hard to coach. But it is like you see like personal trainers, nurses. I'm trying to think of other occupations that are pretty prevalent that have like super high NEAT, but that's so hard to manage on prep. Like
Mhm.
I have a girl starting prep, Erica, and she has a very high amount of clients in person too, and it's gonna be tough. Like we have to change it around. We have to do snack type meals at work. We have to make sure we're managing her fatigue with cardio and the amount of steps she does around the gym. Like it's tough to manage, but I'm glad that you kind of came to that realization, you and Josh. That's huge.
Mhm.
I would recommend to her to tell her clients what she's going
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
through because
I
I
do.
I wish I had because like I never really vocalized like you don't want to put yourself to sound more like important or anything than what's going on to them, but like towards the end of prep, like I wanted to cry just like loading people's weights on and off, like
Yeah.
fucking 4 plates on a leg press when you're dead at the end of the day. So like I wish I had like vocalized a little bit like, can we do this together? Like, like just so they were aware.
Can you
Like
help a
help me.
sister out?
Wait, do people not load their own plate? I haven't
I
done
do
personal
everything
training
for everybody.
No, trainers usually do everything.
Yeah.
fuck off. Oh, fuck off. I would be like, all right, so you're gonna do a little extra something, something. Dude,
Yeah.
I'd be such a bitch as a personal trainer. But out of love and respect. Right?
That's
Like,
right.
damn.
That's right. Well, congratulations. That's really awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have
Oh,
some exciting news about my own programming with Austin. He said that we have like 4 more weeks where we can like be in our growth phase and then we could potentially enter into a maintenance phase and then push again. I've never
newfound
done that.
territory.
Yeah, that is brand new territory. It's not that I would like get fat, but like that's usually what would happen is I would just get like too fluffy where insulin sensitivity would go and it'd be like, okay, well now let's just do a dieting phase and we'll clean it up and do it all over again. But I've never like done a push phase, held there just to like bring food down a little bit, just to like reset and then
Mhm.
push again. Like that's completely foreign to me. And I'm like, fuck it.
Yeah. I mean, dude, it is kind of scary, but that's pretty much what we did.
Mhm.
Like, we just kept pushing my food up and then now we're pushing for growth. And then when we pull, PEDs out, we're gonna just maintain. We're not gonna drop into a deficit. So it does suck, especially like if you do pull out gear and then go into a maintenance, you do feel softer.
Sure.
But I think it's gonna be cool to see how your body responds instead of growth cut, growth cut. It's just like
Yeah,
big gorilla glutes, big dumps. It's gonna
that's
be
I
good.
right.
think that's a good point to bring up too, to like mentally know that going
Yeah.
into it. Because I think that some may want to initially titrate calories down just to see from seeing the response of not being as hard as they were, thinking it's more body fat accruing, but it's
Mhm.
not really, it's just your physique changing due to no longer having the enhancements in.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, and I think another thing to talk about is like when you pull gear and then you automatically think all your muscles are gone, all your strength is gone. All like no, it's not it. Your
Mhm.
muscles are still there. They don't just poof, they don't just do that. Your endurance will probably dip for sure for like a first couple weeks, but once you start to build that back up, it does kind of suck. It's like a slap in the face. You're like, why am I such a weak ass bitch? But
Mhm.
like maybe because you don't have as many androgens circulating anymore.
Exactly. I
Um,
really have no like expectations because when it's uncharted territory for me,
mhm.
like I'm just excited to fuck around and find out.
Yeah.
It's like I know what it's like to pull androgens and then enter into a deficit and feel weaker relatively. It's not like you become a weak bitch in a deflated balloon for crying out loud. Some people act the minute you pull gear, oh my God, I dropped 2 plates on my hack. Like, no, bad squirt
I
bottle.
think that's more so mental.
Squirt bottle. Yeah, it's all mental, right? Will you progress, Jesus Christ. Will you like go as quickly in terms of PRing when you are on gear? No, of course not. But like your strength it should not be like hitting a concrete wall and like
Yeah.
going backward by any means.
Hmm. Yeah, I think that's definitely that mental fortitude that you have to build up,
Mhm.
prior to adding in the gym candy, you know.
The
Like,
David Goggins stay hard.
yeah. Dude, all I think about is our stupid ass conversations off the
No.
podcast.
Dude.
Stay hard so you don't have to get hard. God, Jesus.
This was
But
a
yeah,
Viagra pre-workout conversation the other day, just so you all know.
Dude, it's
this was your
Cialis and Anavar. I'm telling you, that was a 1-2 combo for just the ballooning of your muscles. Like, just saying. I'm just saying.
Viagra.
Just do
Viagra
pump.
pre-workout.
Just do pump from Morphogen Nutrition. It's a hemodynamic, so it like expands your blood vessels, so it's legal. Not, I'm not asking. I'm not saying you should
Is
take this.
Viagra not legal?
Well, it's a prescription drug, right? So it's like if
No,
you're getting
true.
it from your source to like test it
Oops.
out, that's a little fishy. But you can get a legal version without a script.
I always think like my source is like CVS or something. Like it's not illegal. I get it from my source.
I
God. Yeah. Well, take some dick pills after you pull gear and you'll be solid.
Walk
Literally.
around.
Fucking jacked.
Oh my goodness gracious.
That's kind of what we were going to talk. Well, not about getting hard, but
Talking about dicks. Let's
not
go.
about DX, but talking about coachability. We kind of already started going that way with Laura. So did we want to like hop into examples of how to be a more coachable athlete?
I think it's good to identify personalities that are difficult to coach
Yeah.
because like all of us here have our own ish. Like
Mhm.
for me, I'll completely throw myself under the bus. Like type A personalities that struggle with all or nothing, perfectionism, and especially when it's rooted in like when I was vegan, like I had like a moral high ground where I had to be right. So it was like ego, I guess is what we could type that as. Those are very, very difficult to work with because they're not flexible. They're very rigid. They're very stuck in their ways because their level of control over their diet and their exercise is their safety net. And because they view it as safe, they are, like I said, they're not flexible with it. So, like, the minute you try to change something with their diet or nutrition, they start to get even more like closed off and they have even more restriction and more control. And that was something that I really struggled with when I switched from my first coach to my second coach because I was kind of like Laura, where I had this extreme like output. For me, it was deep rooted in exercise addiction. And I was doing 30,000 steps because I was just walking. I wasn't being a personal trainer. I was just
Yeah.
all the way around downtown Charleston. So, like, for my coach to be like, hey, we need to pull back, I was like, no, like I fought hard against it. So it's those type A people, the over exercisers, the controllers, perfectionists, all or nothing. And you could even make a case that coaches are difficult to coach.
Mhm.
So yeah, we can dive into that mess.
You don't say. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. The type A, the extremist, I guess. I think the first thing that I try to do with those individuals is introducing more flexibility, more gray areas in their life because they're very, very black and white, from every freaking aspect. So introducing more, I guess you could say like intuition,
Mhm,
learning how their body actually feels versus just sticking to a set of like whatever it is, like their diet, their training.
mhm,
Being actually in tune with their body is really important to coach with these people. Um, and just kind of shifting their focus away from how they view progression. Because I feel like with type A's, it's like if you're, I don't know, in like a dieting phase, you have to see the scale go down, and that's the only progress. But no, there's other ways to gauge progress. And I think coaching them through that process and teaching them about the other ways of tracking and progression is key for those individuals. But
mhm,
I think all three of us have a little bit of type A in us for sure. Uh, I feel like I'm a lot better, especially like in the beginning stages when I would do like my off seasons or just yeah, like my growing phases and stuff.
mhm,
I would be very, very rigid. I wouldn't let myself be flexible, like on the weekends, go enjoy myself. And I think I did really well this past year, like 2023, when I first hired Cameron, because I was like going overseas, I was eating out a little bit more, but I was still very on point with other things. And I allowed myself those gray areas, that flexibility. And I realized like, oh, I'm not going to turn into my 600-pound life star, like it's not going to happen like that. But is that what you guys see too with your like type A, like extremist kind of individual?
So something I would also bring up too with this, in my intake information, I always ask if there's any previous history with eating disorders, because coupling that with also type A, they usually go together.
Mhm.
I'm more likely to be a little bit different on my approach with someone that comes from a disordered background. And if you really look at statistics within bodybuilding, I think that most do have some type of, either it was initially or after competing or whatever, disordered relationship with food. And I
Mhm.
think that it's a huge hurdle to gain that trust before trying to take too much away from what their initial norm was, because they don't trust you, even though they're hiring you and want to maybe even be coachable. But then there's that like inner dialogue that's refusing it. So the only thing that is going to earn that like peace between the two relationships is earning trust over time. So I try to even remind myself like baby steps with clients. I know that that's the history that they're coming from.
Yeah, that's really good. And it is true. I feel like a lot of people who get into this sport, even if like you're not competing, but you're like living the lifestyle of bodybuilding, you do have a bit of an extremist personality for sure. Because this is an extreme sport. But for the people like who blame bodybuilding on the development of eating disorders, I don't think it's that. I think bodybuilding uncovers these disordered thoughts in our head because it does cause, body dysmorphia. It causes us to be more rigid in our, our meals, our day to day, because we have to. It's not out of a disordered thought, but it can, turn into that.
Mhm. Something that has helped me is identifying like how I need to think about, hitting my variables, because it used to be so rigid because it was out of destruction and almost hatred, versus now it's like a willing spirit. I get excited to check off my boxes because like I'm doing this shit for me, like no one is holding a gun to my head making me do these things. Like I want to improve every single day because I will be stepping on stage having my bare ass like being judged, like quite literally. So for me, just like getting empowered and getting excited about bringing my best has really helped me to overcome the rigidity that I once had. So now I'm able to have more fun and be a bit more flexible now that I'm in like, my 5 ever off season with my athletes. Something that has helped me relate to them and help to grow them is I don't ask about their personality types. I ask how they learn and ask how they take feedback. Some I can be blunt as fucking, day, and that's how they learn and that's how they take criticism to get better. There are some people that are like, hey, listen, like you can be blunt, but not really. So it's like, okay, so if you told me I can be blunt, cool. But like some people are like, oh yeah, you can tell me how it's real. And then I tell them how it's real and I get like a slap back. It's like, oh, okay, so I can't actually be real with you. I need to be a little bit softer in my approach. And being that self-aware as a coach to see what your athlete needs, that's how you can empower them to create change rather than, almost like some coaches, they're a dictator and they rule by fear and, punishment. I don't think that's the best way to coach. And I certainly don't think that's the best way to bring your best out of your athlete, because I was once ruled by fear and it made me push really, really hard, but I just burned out and made no progress. Versus now I'm empowered and I've made the best amount of progress I've ever made because I'm doing it with my head screwed on.
Yeah, I like that. I think coaching needs to be adaptable. If
Hmm.
you are a coach out there listening to this or have had a coach who kind of does this, where it's just one size fits all, that's not going to work. You're going to burn out. Maybe you get like some top ass athletes, get some crazy success, but when it comes to the actual coaching of the individual, you're going to struggle. You really are. So learning how to be adaptable in your ways
Hmm.
and not just stuck to that one size fits all mentality is key. Like, you know, I sent you guys that one girl I work with, like, we don't even do macros. There's some people that I'm just like, don't weigh yourself. We don't use that. There's some, they don't wear a watch to track their steps. Like that just stresses them out too much. We don't track things the same way. And being able to still gauge progression and help coach them makes me a successful coach.
Yep.
Because some coaches, I feel like if they didn't have the scale weight and the data every single day, they would be like, what do I do? What do I do with this person? Like, if you don't know how to actually coach and move things around without a full Excel spreadsheet filled out, you're not going to get very far. Sorry.
Yeah, you're not a coach, you're a data engineer. And Eric is a
Yes.
data engineer. And that's what he does, is he literally has 2 screens full of, I don't just mean like hundreds of columns of data. I'm talking like thousands upon thousands of columns, rows of multiple sheets, analyzing that data to, you know, have an outcome. That's not coaching, right? Because you're not dealing with people in that scenario. When you're a coach, you're dealing with biofeedback, which is that like hard evidence, but then you're also dealing with the emotion of the individual. And you have to marry those two and blend those two, because the emotion can alter the feedback. And then also the feedback can present emotion. And so it's like, if it's all going to shit, well, your feedback doesn't matter at this point because it's stressing out the athlete. So let's pull it. That's why if you notice me, guess what? I have no fucking tan lines from my Fitbit anymore. I threw that motherfucker away years ago, like 3 years ago, because I let it rule my life. I had to get 10,000 steps before 8 a.m. Like that was a hard rule. If I didn't get 10,000 steps before 8 a.m., it was a shit day. I always checked my resting heart rate. I had to make sure I moved every hour. And if it was contest prep, I had to make sure I got more steps than the previous day, which is how I ended up 30 to 35,000 steps daily. And I just kept doing that even in my off season, because like up here was not right.
Yeah. I think there are a lot of people out there that get almost what is that? Paralysis by analysis, too
Yeah.
much data, all of that. And I think that that's starting to be something that you see a lot more, that these coaches are, and like granted, I have ways of tracking data too, but if a
Yeah.
conversation arises that someone that's feeling stressed or are not meeting the requests even for the data being asked, then I go into that conversation of what would be realistic for you? What doesn't bring stress to your life? I want to add to your life as opposed to making you feel more stressed out. How can we go about this that you feel you'll be successful? Because otherwise, the best plan in the world is dog shit if they're not following it.
Yeah. And I think that's kind of what broke out last fall. I'm not going to bring up anything, but the whole protocol coaching. Like it's this protocol, this is what you have to do, this is what you have to follow to a T to be successful. And it's just not how it is. That's never how life is. You know, there's so many obstacles, there are so many different variables and changing parts that you have to be, like I said, adaptable. As a coach, you have to be able to help those individuals that you are coaching to kind of maneuver past those without setting them back.
What helped me, especially since I haven't prepped in quite some time, to learn how to embrace my off season and have more fun with bodybuilding. Because as type A, we have our structure, we have a routine. It's very, very rigid and it brings us comfort, but we can almost become too robotic about it, where, you know, one deviation in our status quo throws us into a tizzy. So learning to be a bit more fluid with our routine is really, really good, but making sure we're having fun. And I don't just mean like, you know, once a month you go bowling. I mean, like making sure that things that you used to do before you were a bodybuilder, you still implement, as long as it's not detrimental. Like obviously if you're getting fucked up every single weekend, like that's not what we're trying to do here. But for me, like it was baking again or being more creative with my food. I tried gardening this past summer. I'll do it again, just less. Like there are things that, you know, I'm interested in trying, you know, this time around when it comes to like being outside and being a homeowner. So it's like making sure you still know how to play, even though you're an adult, can bring out such a immense peace that also can help you to focus your energy on being a better bodybuilder and also a better person. And that was paramount for me in my growth, just as a bodybuilder, but like I said, also as a person.
Yeah, that's really big because fucking hell, guys. Do you ever get on Instagram and see like their Instagram handle or in their bio is like future IFBB Pro or I don't
NPC
know.
qualified, like it's just
Yeah,
like
it's
it's
like
all, yeah.
guys, get your head out of your ass. Like you cannot make bodybuilding your entire existence and personality
Mhm.
because that's boring. Okay, there's more to you. There's more substance to you than winning a fucking card or a little trophy that, I don't even have my trophies. My mom does because she loves them more than I do.
Mhm.
I love the process. She's like, give me the trophy. And
That's
I
actually
want
really
to show my
sweet.
friend. It's like, okay, here are my trophies. Like legit, my big one that I won at the Pittsburgh championships, I like got the overall figure when I was a little tiny little thing, but it was like a tall one. It's
Yeah.
legit right outside of my bedroom door. And I'm like, Ma, what is
Mom's
this?
going by like
She's
dusting
like,
it.
That's so
it's your
cute. She's so
trophy.
proud.
Like, fucking hell. But you know what I mean? Like people make this their fucking personality. And I'm
Mhm.
like, you are about as interesting as those guys on Tinder who are holding a goddamn fish. You know? Like, come on, guys. Like, there's more to you. So don't lose yourself for bodybuilding.
I
Fuck.
also think that's super important because eventually bodybuilding competitively isn't going to be your thing.
Yeah.
And I
Yes.
think that a lot of people go through this like massive identity crisis,
My
the
God.
almost the opposite end direction that then like they're not training anymore, they're not following a diet. Like you see that a lot. People get so burnt out because that's all they have. And
Mhm.
Yeah.
like I don't think that that's healthy either. And like personally, I know that I'm coming towards the end of my competitive bodybuilding career and I'm fine with that.
Mhm.
But I also know that like I'm still gonna want fitness and health of what I'm eating nutritionally wise to be a part of my life because I haven't totally burnt myself out with it.
Mhm.
So I think that that's also important to incorporate other things too. So even if you got hurt, like fuck, we've all
Mhm.
had injuries and then you can't train or whatever, like you lose your
Yeah.
shit.
Mhm. I
But
do want
also,
to have
sorry.
a not a different perspective, but obviously we're focusing on the context of bodybuilding, but this can happen to anyone. Like I even noticed Eric was getting depressed because he woke up, went to work,
That's what I
went
was
to
gonna
the
say.
gym, eat his meals. Like he's not a bodybuilder. He is married to a bodybuilder. And yes, we have very similar routines, but I noticed he was starting to get depressed because he that didn't have a hobby. He didn't spend, a few free hours doing something he loved. And so I was like, okay, sweetie, we need to look at our finances to give you some fun money so you can do your own hobby things. Cause he likes to go shooting. He likes to, build things with wood. Like he likes to work around the house and he wasn't doing those things. And I could tell it was eating away at him and he was starting to become more hollow and less developed. And I was like, oh, this is a problem. And if he's struggling with hobbies, then chances are I'm struggling with hobbies too, outside of bodybuilding, which is a problem. And so we actually got closer as husband and wife when we encouraged one another to do something other than, work, sleep, eat, shit, repeat. And it has brought us just again closer together as husband and wife because we're more well-rounded and we're happier.
Yeah. And um it is hard, especially when you are trying to go very far with your competitive career. Like I want I'm gonna be on the Olympia stage next year. Okay. So that's gonna happen. So that means, I can't, yeah, like my hobby can't be getting fucked up and going to the club on the weekend. That if that's your hobby, that's embarrassing, first of all. That's weird. But like people are like, oh, what are your hobbies? My hobbies are kind of centered around bodybuilding in a sense. I like checking out new gyms. I like training. I like to play with my dog and like be active with him. But I also love traveling. I love exploring. I like trying new things. Like, so it's okay if like your hobby still kind of revolves around it, but you need to get out of the mundane kind of routine. Because once prep hits, like then you can, you know? But in your off season, relax, enjoy it. Even on prep, man, like, yes, it's hella restrictive, but you're still like, not every bodybuilder is married to another bodybuilder who's going through prep. Like you and Eric, like, what do you, no date nights, like, nah, fuck off for like 12 weeks, 12, 14 weeks. Like, you can go jack yourself off. Like, no, you're gonna go on a date that's not revolving around food. Maybe play mini golf, go
Yo,
bowling.
there's nothing wrong with Diet Coke and black coffee. Like
Dude, I
that shit
fucking love a Diet
slaps.
Coke and black coffee just sitting there and being like, ooh, like, how was that? Was that
Yo,
good?
sniffs are free. That's all I'm
Give me
saying.
the feedback. Yeah, like tell me how it tastes. Like explain it, you
Like
know?
you're just like like smells like chocolate and
Chocolate.
brown sugar. The
Dude,
coffee
like the
notes.
candles on prep. I'm in there like Target and Marshalls. I'm just like, let's just do a line of fucking candles real quick.
You
Like
go to
it's
Bath and Body Works, it's just
yeah, like
oh,
there's God damn.
sweet pea.
Oh yeah, hit the spot.
Let's
Oh, fuck.
go.
But okay, that kind of translates over into another type of
I
client
think
that
Laura
we
just
probably
peed.
see. Reel it in, reel it in. Jeez. Ha. Okay, the
Oh
other
my
type of
God.
client that
We're
I was
good.
going to talk about, the socializer. Somebody who does want,
Ooh.
like, they feel like FOMO for kind of starting
Yeah.
this. They're like, oh, this is so restrictive. And then they don't follow through on their diet all week because they're like, oh, I want to go to brunch. I want to do this. I want to do that. Like, how do I balance it all? Like, do you guys ever struggle with that? Or not struggle with it, but you see people struggle with being like wanting to be overly social?
Yeah, and that's just like a conversation of like priorities. It's like, okay, well, if you still want to do some of these things, let's be mindful of the activities that we're choosing, and let's also be realistic of our outcomes. So it's like you're not going to progress like a type A who is checking off their boxes, but if you're okay with that, then as long as you are an adult and have the self-awareness that your progress might be a little bit slower, that's fine by me because I'm coaching you, the athlete, the client, not comparing you, the athlete, to client to like a type A'er. So that's my thing is like, we'll just have a conversation about it. We'll pick out what really means something to you. And we'll just set realistic goals when it comes to expectations about fat loss, muscle gain, whatever the hell the goal is.
Yeah,
That
I
was
think.
actually some, oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, 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 no.
I was gonna say that was actually something that like I've kind of newly learned from a coaching stance from coaching Josh. For those of you following that didn't see it, I prepped Josh up until like 5 days out from his show that he decided not to do. I digress. Anyways, but we were stage lean ready, all of that. And for him, and what I've always done personally and with clients is I wasn't big on giving free meals because when it's, down to the nitty-gritty, it's a lot more controllable by doing a calculated refeed, etc., just to make sure the look is going the direction I want.
Mhm.
But for somebody that very heavily relies on the ability to have socialization, going out, getting a meal, whatever, with friends, and greatly looks forward to that, it's a little bit more important from the mental side of things to say, you know what, we're going to go get X, Y, and Z. And I'll be more specific with them of how I want things ordered or whatever, eyeball portions to, so it's like within a reasonable amount. But I definitely have that conversation now with athletes going forward because I know that not everybody's like me. I'm not a foodie. I don't give a shit. As long as I'm eating something that's not gone bad or whatever, I don't really care. But I think that a lot of people are not like that. And keeping the mental health of the client is extremely important. So I've gotten a little more flexible on my approach with that.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
important because, we want these social butterflies, so to speak, to like maintain their like social vibrancy. We don't want to bring their life down. We don't want it to be rigid for them, but we also want them to view their health and wellness journey as like not a form of deprivation, but as a way to kind of help to elevate themselves. And they still can like go out and enjoy themselves within reason. So I think it's important to Like that's where the collaboration kind of effort goes on. Like talk to them about, okay, what upcoming events do you have? We can kind of set up a game plan for this. Like I have this girl, Mariah, who's like killing her dieting phase, looking sick, down like 17 pounds. She has like her friend's wedding coming up in like 2, 3 weeks. We're in a pretty rigid like cut right now, and it's her off season, but we still need to get body fat down. So we're being pretty rigid with it, but like I want her to enjoy herself at the wedding. Of course, maybe she's not going to be able to go to like the queso fountain and like dunk all her like tacos in the queso fountain. But like I'm still gonna allow her to have like, some tacos and fajitas. Like we're gonna just make it so it
Sounds
fits
like a
that week.
fun wedding.
I know, a fucking
You said her name was
oh, like,
Mariah?
what?
You said her name was Mariah?
Yeah, I
You're
posted her
you're gonna
on
see Mariah like swimming in the queso fountain, like not eating it, just swimming around, being like, fuck you, Coach Meg.
dude. She's so funny, but no, she looks sick. This girl, uh,
Yo, fucking
yeah,
shout
I
out to
posted her
Mariah.
the other day.
Snaps and claps.
Good.
Amazing. We're gonna do wellness next year, but this year we just needed to do an initial cut phase, grow a little bit, and then hit the stage next year. I'm so excited.
Yo, that's
But
awesome.
killing
I
it, dude.
think adding to the social butterfly, because social butterflies tend to be usually leaders of their friend group because they're very outgoing. I think it's a great conversation to have of trying new things and new events. So rather than getting fucked up with the club, it's like, okay, well, why not take an exercise class together? Like, why not like go out for coffee? Like, still do social things, but just do it a little differently. Like, how many times do we have like goats in yoga or cats in yoga or cats in coffee? Like, you can still spend time with your girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, like, and be a social butterfly. Just don't choose to eat like a jerk or get shit faced. It's like do other activities with other people and, have different conversations or just try something new. Because I think that's a big benefit of being a social butterfly is they're really down to clown and do whatever, but they just want to do it with other people. And so it's like, that's a great thing to do to also invite change to your friend group. Because if they see you like changing to be healthier, they might kind of pick up on that. And it's kind
Yeah.
of like a secondhand, like nutrition thing, secondhand fitness, where it's like you're being a positive influence in your friend group. And that's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, one thing that COVID, the vid, whatever, please don't cancel us, platform that we're on. One thing that it did bring us is more, I don't know, more things to do that aren't centered around food.
Yeah.
Like we have, what are those rooms that you can like break
It's-
shit in?
Oh, we have like the breaking rooms, the
Yeah, the break rooms.
adventure
Escape
rooms.
rooms.
Yeah, like there's so much to do. Fucking pottery class, the little paint and wine night. Maybe skip the wine, bring a little seltzer, bring a little Celsius, you know, you know. But there's so many opportunities. Don't be so close-minded that it has to be wine night with the girls or brunch with the girls or any of that shit. Like Ash said, like take it outside, go on a walk. Like Heather, Jill, like TP and I, like we'll just go to the river walk our doggos, have some coffee. Like it doesn't have to be some 30, like 3K like
Hmm.
calorie meal. It's just crazy. But trying to think of other common coaching. Hmm,
I think Ashley made a really good comment the other day is just being able to have honest conversation.
yeah.
Whether it's good, bad, indifferent, the coach cannot know what you do not express. Even if you're worried of the negative reaction that may occur, if you at least get your thoughts and feelings out, the likelihood of a positive response is a lot higher than if you never say it at all.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that comes down to, unfortunately, there's a lot of bad apples in our industry, and they kind of scare these people. And they don't want to be vulnerable. They don't want to be open because they're used to being like shut down, like demeaned, like kind of coached in like that militant kind of fashion. So it's up to us as coaches to be like a safe space for them to be open and honest, it's gonna take them time. Like, don't like force somebody. Like, don't get them on like a Skype call and just like stare at them. Like, like chill. It's another human. So that's important too on our part.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's more just like at the end of the day, remembering that we are coaching people, like we talked about, like the data scientists. It's like we're coaching individuals. We take into account the entire person, their biofeedback, who they are, their hobbies, likes, dislikes, and you coach them and you have realistic conversations out of respect. Because like at the end of the day, you work together with your athlete as a team, much like, Megan Cam and me and Austin and Laura. It's like you guys have to work together. Laura's like, yeah. Like the
Yeah.
Spider-Man like a meme where they're like pointing at each
Oh
other.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like at the end of the day, you have to remember that you're working with people and your coach wants or should want what is best for you. Because if you're bringing your best and your best physique or you're hitting your goals, like that also makes them look good too because like they're doing their job properly. So it's like as coaches, we never want to like make clients go backwards because that reflects poorly on us. We want what is best for you, or at least I'm speaking for the three of us, because I know the three of us
Sure.
want what is best for our athletes because like we are good, genuine human beings. But at the end of the day, it's like we're all adults here. Like you pay to play, bring your best, show up, be honest, respect yourself, respect your coach, and like be patient because usually the big sticking point for the majority of athletes is just time. Like being impatient, comparing yourself to others, it's just those are big progress killers.
For sure.
Yeah. And kind of about the timeline, just a little, I know we're kind of closing on an hour here. That was fast. Wow. Holy cow.
Time flies when you're sniffing Bath and Body Works candles.
Facts, man, facts. But about the timeline, that's really important. I can't remember where I heard it, but if you were watching like a YouTube video and you didn't have the bar at the end telling you when it was gonna end, you would just be sitting there like, when is it gonna end? When is it gonna end? And like continuously like thinking that. So that's where I bring in like the goal phase or not goal, well, yeah, like goal phasing, like giving them like a roadmap, like potential things. Because of course, like as their life changes, as things pop up, it may have to shift and alter. That's where the whole adaptability thing comes in. But giving them that initial like timeline, and like this is this phase, this is the goal of this phase, this is what we're gonna do, and like give them that like visual, that really helps a lot of people want to
Yep.
kind of give their all.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Agreed.
Yeah,
Solid podcast. We
it's
had
solid,
some
man.
we got some advice, we had some laughs, we got to huff some candles, like all
Yeah,
good shit.
hell yeah.
Heard it all.
We did.
Wait, titties. Okay, now we talked about tits. Phew.